Welcome to Sound Off on 96.7 The Eagle, LaPorte County's original social media. Sound Off is a public interest forum that encourages your voice to be heard on the topics and issues impacting our local communities. We invite you to be part of the conversation by calling or texting 219-362-0522. You may also email your questions to soundoff at 967theeagle.com. This is a topic-based program, and we ask that you keep your comments brief, concise, and related to the topic being discussed. The views expressed on Sound Off are those of the hosts or callers and do not represent the opinion of 96.7 The Eagle, Spoon River Media, LLC, or the sponsors. The on-air line is now open for your calls or texts at 219-362-0522. And now, Sound Off on 96.7 The Eagle.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Sound Off on this Friday. Stan Maddox here. We have a guest on the program tonight. Our guest is Center Township Trustee Lisa Pierzakowski. So give us a call if you have a question or something to say. Once again, our Sowers GMC on-air and text line 362-0522. Lisa, as always, welcome to Sound Off.
Thanks, Dan. Thanks for having me.
What's new at the Township Trustee's office?
Well, we're getting into that warm time of the year. It is the first day of summer, isn't it? Today is the first day of summer. That's why it's getting hot and humid and all that stuff. So we have some warm temperatures coming up the next few days. So I'll be out and about Saturday and Sunday checking on people and passing out waters and stuff like that. Monday and Tuesday, of course, during office hours from 9 to 4, the office will be open if people need to come in and cool off and get something cold to drink or just, get in out of the elements. We will have people in our back part of our building. We also have our showers that you can come in and take a cool shower. This is for anybody that's not in a home. So this would be unhoused people I'm talking about. So, but if you know of somebody that's, struggling with the heat, being out in the elements, please make sure to send them to our office at 1108 West State Road 2. I know normally they can go to the fire stations and the city hall and stuff like that too. So I'm sure they will be making announcements here real soon on where all the cooling centers will be.
All right. Now, somebody who perhaps doesn't have air conditioning or their air conditioner goes out and they don't have a fan. Your office does that, right?
They can give us a call. We normally do that through application processes, but, we don't want anybody to be without anything at all. Normally, the Salvation Army has a program, and I've not heard from them this year. But I know always in the past they had a fan program. So we don't purchase the fans like we used to anymore because Salvation Army was always handing them out. But I know last year a couple times I had to go purchase fans and, take to a couple houses and stuff like that. So if anybody is in need, our office number is 219-362-2736 or my cell is 219-851-8739.
Okay. Of course, your office is involved in things like, helping people pay their utility bills, rent, and your office has a food pantry as well. How's demand? Is it about the same as it was the last time you were on Sound Off, or has it gone up or gone down?
It's gone up. Everything has gone up. We're seeing more requests for assistance with NIPSCO, more requests for water shutoffs, rental assistance. But it's more the NIPSCO in the water than it is rental assistance, which is, kind of strange to us, but it's because they can't afford everything. It's do I pay my rent or do I pay my NIPSCO? Do I pay my car payment or do I pay my water? It's just people are seeing struggling times right now with, taxes going up. And, we had some of these bills that passed down at the State House that are affecting people in different ways, including our office. We're losing hundreds of thousands of dollars. So, we're all tightening our belts, and we tell our clients when they come in, we're not getting the funding that we were getting before. So, we're not saying that we're not helping you, but we're capping it right now. We're capping it basically at $600. Now, does that mean we're not going to go above and beyond if we have to? But we're trying to cap it because we know we will run out of funding. And in the state of Indiana, you cannot run out of funding. You have to go and borrow the money. So, and with one of the bills that's being passed, we're losing our extra funding. So we're not going to have that extra funding. So it's going to force us to borrow money if we have to. So
now,
it's scary times right now.
Now run that past me again. If you run out of money, you have to borrow money.
The townships are never allowed to be out of money. So if somebody comes in for an application and they qualify, their application qualifies, we cannot say we are out of funds. We have to fund it. So if we have used up our budget, normally we can do an additional appropriation and get us to some of our extra funds. Well, some of our extra funds are being taken away from us now for road repairs. So we're going to be forced to have to borrow in due time. So we have never, knock on wood, we've never had that happen. I've always been able to budget accordingly. And we've always had that extra. You know, we live within our means. We budget within our means. We've always had that extra, but that extra is being taken away from us now.
You mentioned a $600 cap. Is that per month per individual? Or?
Well, right. So somebody can come in and apply every 30 days. Does that mean we're going to help them every 30 days? Definitely not. We're going to be budgeting with them. We're going to make sure they're getting jobs. We're going to make sure, you know, they're doing everything they can. But if somebody, you know, we had a gentleman not too long ago that had some medical issues going on, and he wasn't able to work for a couple months. So we had to fund his rent for a couple months so he wasn't out on the streets homeless. You know, that's our main goal, is to keep people housed. We don't want unhoused people out in the streets. That is the main job of the township, is to keep people housed. So we're going to do everything we can possibly to keep them housed.
Okay. We got a text message. Does Lisa know anyone that needs a small window air conditioning unit? I have one that I'd donate to someone in need.
We've not had any, we were just talking about that. We've not had any requests for air conditioners or fans at all this year so far. So I don't have anybody right now that's asked for it, but that doesn't mean that it's not going to happen in the next few days. So that person can email me at centertownship@gmail.com. Send me a message, and then I'll have their information. If we do have somebody that needs it, we can get in contact with them. Or they can send me a text at 219-851-8739. And we greatly appreciate that, because that will help possibly somebody in need.
Okay. Yeah, that $600 cap, is that per individual per month, or is that per year? Or?
No, it'd be per month.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we can't help somebody just once per year. You have to, if somebody comes in every month and asks for an application, we have to give it to them. We cannot deny them an application. So, but like I said, that doesn't mean we're going to help them every single month, but we cannot deny an application. So we cannot deny an application, and we cannot deny if they qualify through that application and we were suddenly to have gone through our complete budget, we would have to borrow to take care of that.
I understand you're going to Indianapolis here pretty soon.
Yep.
Tell us about that.
Yeah,
What's the purpose?
we have financial training on Monday. Actually, it's in Westfield. Usually it's in Fishers, but it's going to be in Westfield. So we have financial training for Township Association, and DLGF will be there. State Board of Accounts will be there. We'll have some CPAs there, and hopefully they're going to help us understand what's going on with some of these bills that are affecting townships. We just had a webinar on Wednesday, and I felt absolutely still in the same place I feel exactly right now, as in nowhere land, knowing what's going to happen with Senate Bill 1 and House Bill 1461, because nobody's really given us exact direction on how, what, where, and how, it just... Everybody's pointing fingers at each other. So until we have a good take on it, it's kind of a struggle, because, here it is budget time and we got to start working on our budgets, but we don't know how much money we're going to lose. We don't know how much money we got to transfer from one account to another account. Which accounts are we losing money out of? There's lots of questions to be asked and answered. So hopefully Monday we'll feel much better after that training. So Yes, so I will be in Westfield all day on Monday.
Sure, you're hoping to find out exactly how much money your office is going to lose.
Well, yeah, and then, the formulas, like the DLGF talks about the CPI report that we have to start doing, and, where's that report at? What is it all? What all do you want on that report? So there's just lots of questions yet.
Yeah, it's frustrating, I'm sure, trying to figure out a budget when you don't know what lies ahead.
It is. And I was just having this conversation with my husband because usually I am the person that, I've got my preliminary budget ready to go. By the time I meet with DLGF the beginning of July, I'm just about done. And they're not even going to open up the forms for us to start doing our budgets. We can't even meet with our DLGF reps until the end of July. So now we're pushing August, and, we have our hearings in August and September. So it's pushing everything back. So I'm not a procrastinator when it comes to getting that stuff done. I want it done and put away and, focus on everything else. And this year it's a little harder, but we're going to make it. We're going to get there. We're still seeing clients every day. We're still taking care of people. We're still, making sure people are being housed and people are being fed, and we're going to keep doing what we're doing. It's just a little bit harder.
Okay, that's good to hear. When you're helping people, somebody comes in with an application, of course, you have a screening process, right? You want to make sure they're truly in need and not just blowing their money on ridiculous stuff.
Well, yeah, it's a two-part application. So when they come in the first time, we're sitting down with them and we're trying to find out from them, well, okay, you paid your rent last month. Why is it you can't pay this month? What has happened? Did you have a car accident? What's going on? And then we give them a list of documents that they need to bring back. And one of those a few of those documents are your tax return. So, and they're like, well, why do you need our tax return? Well, because we need to know what you received. Well, I got this amount. I said, okay, we'll bring your tax return, and then their bank transaction history for the last 30 days. So if they're asking for rent for the last 30 days, we'll ask for 30 days of bank transaction history. Now, if they're past due on their rent for the last 3 months, then we're going to ask for 90 days worth of bank transaction history because we need to see where their income went to. You say you're working, you say that you're getting your pay, so we need to see where that income has been going.
Okay, yeah, you want to make sure everything's above board.
We have to. This is not my money. This is taxpayers' money. So this is everybody that owns property and is paying their property tax. That is their money. And just like I own a home and I pay property tax. So, we want to make sure that they're using their money wisely and not just blowing their money and saying, oh, I can just go to the trustee and have them pay it. That's not how it works. We are there for an emergency purpose basis, not just because you didn't spend your money wisely. You decide to eat out all the time. You decide to play games on your phone. You decided to go to the casino. I'm sorry you decided to do all that, but you're not going to ask the taxpayers to pay your rent, NIPSCO, and water when you had the funds. You just spent them on something else. Yeah,
you don't want to be subsidizing somebody's bad habits.
No, and another one is, Section 8, when they're not paying anything for rent and they get utility vouchers. If somebody's getting $196 in utility vouchers every month and they're not putting that $196 towards their utilities every month, we can't pay the difference. We can't pay that. If you didn't use your utility voucher like you're supposed to, you can't come in and ask us to pay for it. Okay. That's double dipping.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's take a quick commercial break. Stay with us here and Sound Off.
We're waiting to hear from you. Dial or text 362-0522 and let us know what you think. That's 362-0522. Back to Sound Off on 96.7 The Eagle.
And welcome back to Sound Off. Our guest today, Center Township Trustee Lisa Pierzakowski. Give us a call, 219-362-0522, or shoot us a text message as well. Of course, the overnight shelter was just created here in LaPorte this past winter. It was open until, I believe, the end of April. What's the forecast for next year? Has anybody determined that yet as far as will it be back at the old train depot or back at all?
Yeah, that would be the Nest Community Shelter, and that would be Harry Holcomb. He's did a fabulous job with the shelter last year, and I know he's working very hard at it right now in Michigan City. I know the men's floor has been filled. I mean, they haven't been able to take new men for a while now. Women's, I know there's a few spots left, but as far as I know, he's still looking and working on something because, I mean, we did have quite a few people go through the shelter last year. So hopefully he figures that out and finds something here in LaPorte soon.
Yeah, last time you were around, you said that you found homes for some of the people and jobs.
Yes.
Did that number, have you added to that number since?
Well, so a few of them went back to Michigan City to the shelter. We did have a couple more of them that received their Social Security. So that's one of the big things too is, you know, if they're at that age or if there's a disability. We had one gentleman that we really needed to get his disability, and he got his disability and got a vehicle and, you know, got into an apartment. We had a couple other ones, you know, get into housing. So, but not everybody. But there again, you know, you've got some that they're going to be unhoused because they don't want to be housed. You just have some of them that just, for some reason, want to live and do what they do. And I can't figure it out. I can't figure it out. But then again, I've not had addiction and mental health issues, so I'm not sure, you know, what is going on in their brain to make them feel comfortable doing what they're doing. But, you know, it's just, the thing is, you know, when we're out passing out water or food or something, last week I was at a meeting, we had leftover Jimmy John's and salads and stuff. And so I came back to LaPorte and, you know, I see my regulars and I'm passing out sandwiches and stuff, and had a new gentleman come up, and I'm like, well, where'd you come from? Well, I'm just this and that, you know. So I'm like, okay, well, come on down to my office tomorrow. You know, we'll get you, you know, looking for work, and you can get a shower. You can get, you know, never seen him, haven't seen him. So, you know, the help is there. They have to want the help. They have to want the help. They have to do the help. It's that old term, you can lead him to water, but you can't make him drink. So it's, you know, that's basically what's happening. It's frustrating for so many. Jeff Batchelor and I have had conversations about, you know, a couple of them, and it's like, how do we help them? What can we do to help them? And we're beating our heads against the board because we don't know how to help them. We know that they need the help, but we don't, you know. So it's just one day at a time. But just like I said, you know, if you know somebody out there that needs some help, we're here to help them. Last week, was it last week or the week before, we had 2 that we took in to get assistance for addiction. So one of the gentlemen completed his 28-day program and then went on to a next program. We had another gentleman that I think he ended up doing like maybe 10, 12 days, and it wasn't for him. But he tried, and that's basically, you know, that's all we can do. When they want the help and they say they want the help, we drop everything and we do what we can. I had 3 agencies in my building with one of them until we were finally able to find a place that was open for him and, you know, get him in. Because that's another thing. You know, you have to find an open bed. You have to find the agency that's going to accept the mental health, the addiction, and, you know, it's not just, oh, I want help and off I go. There's a lot of work that goes behind it. So.
All right. Well, the good thing is you're chipping away, right? You help a lot of people. They get new homes and jobs, and they're back on their feet. One
day at a time, one person at a time. That's all we can do.
Right.
And I remember Harry and I having the conversation about the nest in LaPorte, and we were having the conversation. It was like, well, if we help one family, we've done something right. I mean, yes, we would like to help everybody, but if we've helped one, that was one that got help that might not have been helped. So, and nobody froze to death in LaPorte last year because, you know, we had the shelter available. So,
you know, you mentioned start of summer. Of course, it's still storm season. We get bad storms this time of year in particular. Does your office help people recover from storm-related damage? Maybe a tree fell on their house, or they have to find a new place to live until their house gets rebuilt. Do you guys help with those situations?
So we don't have funding for trees down, and we all the time sidewalks and everything else. normally if a tree falls on a house, the person usually has insurance, and then their insurance takes care of it. Now we have had like a house fire or something like that, and we've had a couple. I think we've had 2 this year actually that were rentals, and they didn't have rental insurance. So of course we get with Red Cross, and then we help after that. So we're here to help in different ways. It's not always the help that everybody wants. People come in and they want us to pay their car payment, or they want us to pay their Comcast bill and, stuff like that. We can't pay any of those. We do not have the funding for that. And actually the government, that's classified as a luxury. A car payment is classified as a luxury. So even though people need a car to get back and forth to work, it's classified as, a luxury. So.
Yeah. I mean, to me, a luxury car would be somebody who can barely afford a car that runs, and they're driving a Cadillac or something.
Yeah.
That would be
well, we have some of those
luxury.
Too.
Yeah. How do they manage to do that? I've always wondered.
I'm still trying to figure out the $8,000 and $10,000 tax refunds. I don't know. I don't know how people get that.
I'd like to find out.
Yeah, I'm just not sure. But when we see those yeah. And then the thing is, if you're getting an $8,000 or $10,000 tax refund, please use it wisely. Don't go out and buy a car or big screen TV or, this or that. We did have one young lady that came in not too long ago and got her tax refund, and she paid a year's worth of her rent. And I was like, oh, finally, somebody that actually did something right. Use that tax check the right way. And to me, I would do that. If I was getting that big of a tax refund, I would pay something, ahead, because you never know when you're going to lose your job. You never know if that place is going to shut down. You don't know if you're going to have a heart attack. You don't know if you're going to have cancer. You don't know if you're going to get in a car accident. You don't know if your significant other passes away. There's all those emergencies that come up. And I tell my kids all the time, keep 3 months in reserve. Keep 3 months in reserve. So, and that's the same thing I do with, the clients that come in that I'm working on budgeting and stuff with. I said, you got to keep that money in reserve, because you're here now for this. What if that happens again in a few months? So, it's, and especially now with the way the times are, money's not going as far as it used to, going to the grocery store. I mean, for us to purchase items for our food pantry, it's a lot more than what it used to be. So, the ground beef, the pork, and, the other things that we have in our pantry, it's not cheap anymore.
So things are still, seems like every time we have you on, you say things are still getting worse, I mean, I guess we hear opposite news sometimes from the politicians. Oh, the economy's doing better, but you're saying locally, it's not.
I'm not.
How about inflation? Is that easing up some?
I couldn't tell you that. Yeah. I have no idea. I just know that the demand, and talking with other food pantries, the same thing. They're seeing, a lot more people coming in. And I was just having this conversation with one of the other food pantries. When it comes to food pantry, we're not seeing the younger generation coming in. We're seeing the older generation come in. And that's what tells me that we have financial problems right now. Because when the older generation that are living on a fixed income are coming in for food or a bill to be paid, that they're struggling, because what they thought they were going to be able to live on with that fixed income is not enough now to take care of it. Property taxes going up, homeowners insurance going up, car insurance going up, everything is going up. I mean, my car insurance just went up. I mean, my rep called and she goes, I'm sorry. She goes, I'm going to start shopping around. She goes, but your car insurance went up this amount of money. And I'm like, okay, we're all over the age. We've not had any accidents. Why, but everybody, I mean, homeowners, somebody just brought in and their homeowners had jumped over $1,000 for 6 months. And I'm like, holy cow, that is a lot of money. That's a big jump. And I'm like, did you have something happen? Did you claim or something in your house? And they're like, no, we have no idea what's going on. But I'm hearing it with a lot of different people. So that's why I said, times are not as good as they used to be. I hope they get better, but right now I'm not seeing it.
Okay. Yeah, you mentioned, food pantries in need. The LaPorte County Association of Realtors today, they're doing a food drive. They're distributing food to 7 local pantries. They're over there between Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts. Are you getting some of that food from them?
Nope, I didn't even know about it. So,
okay.
Yeah, so I'm not one of the pantries getting it. So,
okay. How is the supply of food at your pantry?
We run low on some things. That we've got probably, I think, 5 or 6 families that always are sending me text messages and asking, what are you short on? And I can, send to them. I just sent my husband, Mike, last week. I sent him over to pick up some food that we were running short on. So we're trying to keep up, the best we can. But, you still got the popular things, the cereal, the spaghetti sauce and noodles, and then you've got oatmeal, hot and cold cereal, peanut butter and jelly. Everybody always wants the staple items, the peanut butter and jelly, and then like the ham, because we give out ground pork and ground beef or venison. We have people, that want the hamburger helper and stuff like that to go with it. So those are some of the ones that people really want the most. And then, we're getting into season where we'll start getting some fresh produce donated to our office, which is always great also.
Okay, great. So, of course, the LaPorte County Fair will be, it's just right around the corner. Last year, you guys got one of the cows, right, from the 4-H?
We bought one of, and we'll be, my nonprofit will be making another purchase this year. So I don't know if we're doing a pig or we're doing a cow. I'm not sure yet. I got to look in the freezer and see which is the lowest right now.
So that's another way. Keep the food pantry in supply. You have that animal process.
Well, and the thing is, we're helping out a 4-H member, and we're also helping out our pantry. And, Sims Meat Marketing has always been phenomenal about, making sure we're getting the best deal on that. So it's a way of giving back, yet receiving also. So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I guess no stone goes unturned, right? When you're looking for food for the food pantry.
Yep. And we'll see how much, we are asking for donations right now for our nonprofit, and we'll see how donations are coming in these last 2 weeks and see maybe we might raise enough money to where we can purchase a cow and a pig both. That would be nice. But we'll have to see how finances are.
Yeah, your foundation. Tell us about that. How long ago did you create that?
So Center Township for the People was my best friend did that. I want to say 6 years ago, and it really helps out with things that we're not able to pay for with township funds. So we're able to use that for like purchasing the ham or ground beef or pork or something like that. Helping somebody with an air conditioner or water pipes or, something. So our nonprofit is able to help with things like that. We sent a couple kids to camp this year with our nonprofit, so that helped out. And just, different things, whatever we can do to help the community.
And people can donate to that foundation, right?
Yes. That's we always ask for our donations to go to Center Township for the People, because that way we can use it for other things than what our tax dollars can be used for. So it opens it up. Also with that, it's not just for Center Township residents. If we have somebody outside the perimeter, I've had some other township trustees I've worked with some other things, so we're able to help with that way also.
Okay.
Helping our community.
Great. I tell you what, let's take another commercial break. Stay with us here on Sound Off.
Thank you for tuning in to Sound Off. You can now text or email your questions directly to the studio. Call or text 362-0522 or email your questions to soundoff@967theeagle.com. This is Sound Off.
And welcome back to Sound Off. Our guest today, Center Township Trustee Lisa Pierzakowski, 362-0522. Are you going to seek a third term as a Center Township Trustee?
Well, Stan, I've been saying all along I wasn't going to do it anymore. But speaking with my fire department and some other local officials and state officials, I've decided to put my name back in the hat again for four more years. So I've been telling everybody I would not make my decision till the end of June, and my husband and I had a conversation. I think my fire department was twisting his arm a few times or taking him out to dinner. I'm not sure what they were doing, but we had a long conversation and decided that we'll try and give it another 4 years. I'll run for re-election. That doesn't mean that I won't, doesn't mean that I'll get reelected, but I will be putting my name in the hat again in January for re-election for 4 years.
Okay. Yeah, somebody likes that announcement.
Thanks.
Yeah, no kidding. Okay.
Yeah, we'll see how many like that announcement.
Yeah. Somebody might wonder, there's always this effort every year to reduce or eliminate township governments in the state. Do you think you're going to make it another 4 years if you get reelected?
That's a very big question. We've heard some rumblings that there's going to be some bills to eliminate township. We've heard some rumblings that they're going to get the commissioners to take over the townships. There's lots of rumblings going on, so we're going to see what happens in the next couple of sessions here and do what we have to do. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, helping the people as best I can, doing everything that we can. And, I have a wonderful volunteer fire department. We work really well with another volunteer fire department. So, we're going to keep doing what we need to do.
Hey, we got a text message. You were talking about, older people. You're seeing more older people now coming in for assistance. This person says that's because young people have seen their elders struggle financially. There's a kid I know. He's invested every dime he's gotten for 15 years in the stock market and almost has $1 million for retirement. So maybe their kids, he's saying the kids are learning from their parents who struggle.
Well, we can only hope. I mean, that's great news if that's what's going on, and that's why we're not seeing as many young people. But I would probably beg to differ with some of that. So we'll see.
Okay.
We'll see.
Yeah, another text message. They're asking, how about buying some poultry? Everyone likes chicken and turkey, so maybe some 4-H chickens or turkey or something instead of a cow.
I have no idea. So does that mean that it comes like ground turkey or ground chicken, or how does that work? Is that so? I guess I will check into it. I will check with my Catherine Morzinski and get some information, or somebody in 4-H and check on that. I never thought about that, but I'll check into it.
Okay. Well, we're coming to the end of the program, Lisa. Any final remarks?
If you are in need, emergency, my cell is 219-851-8739. My office number is 219-362-2736. The office is open Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and closed Thursday, and Friday we're open 9 to noon. So hope everybody has a great weekend. Stay hydrated, stay cool. If anybody needs anything, please reach out.
Okay. All right. As always, Lisa, thanks a lot. Look forward to your next visit.
Thank you.
Lisa Pierzakowski, Center Township Trustee, our guest on Sound Off today. That'll do it. Have a great weekend. We'll see you Monday. Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining us and voicing your opinion on this edition of Sound Off.
Oh, hey.
The views expressed on Sound Off are those of the host or callers and do not represent the opinion of 96.7 The Eagle, Spoon River Media, LLC, or the sponsors. Sound Off airs live every Monday and Friday, immediately following Update 12 News, and is available online after the show is over under the podcast menu at hometownnewsnow.com. Mark your calendar and join us again for the next edition of Sound Off, right here on 96.7 The Eagle.